All right, so this is part 2 of our tutorial on Blue and Green, the famous Miles Davis composition on the album Kind of Blue. I went through some of the Rootless left-hand voicings in the last video. In this video, we're going to continue on where we left off and finish off the Rootless voicings and maybe cover a couple of other things. I'd like to play you the recording first. It's just a chorus of Blue and Green and then a couple of choruses of solos. I think it's important to wrap your ears around it, hear the space, hear the modalities, and then when we get back, we're going to continue on with discussing the chords and maybe even some other things. So let me play the tune for you now. All right, so I think it's important for you to learn this tune because it is definitely an important song. It's also unique in that regard. It's a lot of modal stuff, only 10 bars, and we talked about a lot of this in our last video, so I'm not going to continue with that, but where we left off was this 2-5, which is C minor 7 to F7, and now we're over at B flat major 7. So let's take a look at the chord voicing for B flat major 7. And all I'm doing there really is, instead of playing like the G minor 6 chord, I'm playing just the B flat major 7. So A, B flat, D, and F, like that. So when we get to that point, we got... Now, I totally get that it conflicts with the melody at that point, but I'm really talking about the rootless voicings for your soloing. All right, so I think that's a good voicing for B flat major 7. Let's move on to the A7 sharp 9 flat 13. And we talked about this. This is also in the first part. So you really have to think about it again. So this is B flat major 7. And then when we get to the A7 sharp 9, flat 13, I think it's important to know that those notes are part of actually the voicing that I'm giving you. So you've got G, C, which is the sharp 9. You've got C sharp or D flat, which is the third of the chord, and then you've got F here, which is the flat 13. Now again, you can substitute the thought process and just make it an E flat 7 with a 9th and a 13th, which is basically the same chord. So A7 sharp 9 flat 13 or E flat 7 9 13. They share the same tritone, but the upper structure notes are different because the root is different. Okay, so let's keep going. We're going to go then from the A chord to the D minor 7. Now, this note is in the melody. But again, I think in soloing, you want to stick to your rootless voicing. So D minor 7 or D minor 9, doesn't matter. And then you've got E, F, and C, very open voicing. Other than that, you might want to consider force, like maybe this one, or even this one, or both. So. Very modal from a tonality standpoint. And then when we get to the E7 sharp 9, I like to play it like this, which is A flat, C, D, and G, like that. That is also, just like this one over here where we did the tritone substitution, it can also be a B flat 7 chord with a 9 and a 13. So same chord. Cool, right? You get all these tritone substitutions going. Very cool stuff. And then when you get to the A minor 9 chord, play it as a close voicing. So like this, B, C, and E. Love that sound. Again, you can play much richer voicings than that, but those minor seconds in the root really work well. Here's the D minor chord. So nice. And then the last chord is D minor 9. And again, I think you can borrow these ones over here for your D minor 9 chord. So repeat. So let's just go through the tune then and play from the beginning. If you missed the first video, I didn't actually do this at the end of the video, but I'm going to do it now, where I'm just playing the rootless voicings that I've given you and then doing some soloing over top and explaining as I go. So when you think of the G minor chord, you just really want to do modal, like Dorian. Focus on the 6th because I think it's an important note in the Dorian scale. Okay, and then when you get to the A7. Now, interesting thing about this is kind of doing like a diminished scale a little bit. But I'm leaving out some notes. And then the D minor. And then C minor to F7. The B flat major 7. To the A7. D minor, to the E7 sharp 9 chord. I threw in a B there instead of the C, I think they're a little bit interchangeable. They sound a little bit different. And then to the A minor. To the D minor. Okay, my suggestion for this is you take those Rootless voicings, take the backing track that I'm going to give you. There's a link down below to download the backing track. I actually lifted the Paul Chambers bass line from the actual recording, at least the first two choruses. And that's what you see on the sheet of paper where I wrote bass here. This is the actual Paul Chambers line that he plays, or pretty close to it. And I also threw some drums in there. So you can play along with the bass and drums backing track that I'm going to put a link to down below. If you have any more questions about how to solo over this, you want some ideas for other voicings or maybe some scales or things like that, we could literally talk months about this song. It's definitely an important tune to learn, and I hope you learn it and play it on your next gig. That'd be pretty cool. So if you have any thoughts or comments, post them below. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and really think about subscribing to the channel. We're just getting going here with Jazz Mental, and we'd love to have you here for more of our videos. So thanks for your time.